I would say that nobody and no one has the right answer what's going on, and is this the formula which we know as a liberal capitalism arrived on the topic or on the point or the crossroad and where all this is going. There's lots of criticism, but at the same time there is no any other better model which is known to the modern civilization which should guide us into the better future. I would say the leaders all around the world are trying to find, and not only the business leaders or political leaders, many intellectuals are discussing. And I wouldn't take the position to say that I would know the answer, what would be the right answer for the globe today and where to go. But it's the truth that the point when we arrive today, especially when we talk about a small country as Croatia is and the region of Southeastern Europe, that many of issues of the modern world are not eminent, or we can't attribute to this region and, let's say, to less developed countries. I like to raise the point that many of the negativism has been imported from the developed countries, and today we are talking about also the high level of the corruption, of the low ethics in the society. We talk about non-transparent way of doing a business, and many of our citizens are attached this to the fact that is something which has to do with Croatia or Balkan region or Eastern Europe. But we should ask ourselves on the list of the highest corruption per capita or highest corruptive country is Nigeria. 300 years ago, Nigeria was a poor country, but a country with no corruption or no issue on that aspect. Who brought the corruption to the Nigeria? Anglo-Saxon society, and in the last decades, the largest multinational, most developed multinationals. And I would say the same is with the liberal capitalism. The general concept is, I would say, logical, and probably I can't say only one, but one of the few right concept. But then people are greedy, there are no limits, and people are not playing by the rules. People are exceeding the rules. There are lots of dirty games, and the globe is today where it is. And there is, with all this wellness and understandings and science behind and all the theories, especially the lobbies and individual interests are so strong, which slow down any possibility to really discuss where all this is going in the future. Every CEO would say that the company he or she run is a unique one, and we really believe that our company and our society, corporate society, and people who work for the company and enjoy being together are something unique, and it's all about the people. It's all about the culture. At the same time, we can't find the new world, or I think everything is already discovered in the corporate world. And what we try is to put together the mixture of our own experience, practicing some elements of what we feel they are the best practice, adapting again on the people and on the environment we live in. And normally the Atlantic Group today is 4,300 people in 11 countries, but still we are a very small company. We tend to be international to understand the differences. We have different businesses, and within one business model there is lots of smaller sub-business models, and it's not easy to put all this together, because even as I said, we are a small company. Still we grown up like 4 or 5 times in the sales, in turnover over the last 10 years, and today we are more like a very large vessel in the ocean towards what we used to be like a real speedboat in the small water. But I would say there is no unique and simple formula to explain how we're doing. Even if you talk to me, or if you talk one of the senior manager, and if you talk to our associate who works in production or in the distribution or maybe in the pharmacy, probably you would not have I'm sure you are not going to have the same opinion, approach or view how company is doing. It's quite complex. For me, this is quite simple personally. I would say I don't like the proclamation, or let's say big sentences or big statements. But corporate social responsibility means that we talk about organization, about entrepreneur, about a group of people, about activity, which is constantly trying to create a new value, which means the new value for the shareholders, for all stakeholders, employees, but also suppliers and the customers, but for the local community, and really to live in harmony with the society. Often this is not easy. Very often there is different interests to put together and to harmonize that. But we really believe that we have to redistribute part of our not only profit but also of our efforts to the community, and to have a longer view. And also I will have to be very frank on that. It's not only because we take care of other people, but because we take care of ourselves, I mean in company and our employees and our team, and trying to make this sustainability of our business models, which mean helping to the people who needs the help the non-profit, help the culture, especially and the sport, and non-government organization, especially the segments which are not profitable, and they don't have the possibility to be profitable, because when we talk about conceptual artists, there are a few artists which are multi-millionaires, but there is many of good artists which will never make money, and it's a fact that all the bands can't be White Stripes or Red Hot Chili Peppers, and this is a question. But there is many good musicians or artists in several fields, and we feel responsibility, especially on placing some funds to young talents and trying to generate this positive atmosphere in society, that people would not stop believing that it's possible that you are able to do the success, because today with all this negativism and all this frustration, many of members of young generation really believe that the things are never going to happen, and for that there is no even no rationale to start doing something. And I would say this sort of negativism or I would say of being tired on the beginning of the life cycle, it's something which we try to avoid and to initiate, to promote new initiatives. And for sure Atlantic Grupa is not enough to initialize or to facilitate all good initiatives which exist in the society. But we try to do this not on the centralized way. We try to, on every country, every market where we are active, to give something back to the community. There is no formula. I would say there is many nice and excellent books or speeches about the leadership and what is required for the good leader, and you have a business school trying to teach it. It's very much about individual approach, putting this individualism into the, let's say, some collective psychology and context. I mean, there is no one discipline what a good leader should have. We can talk about the facilitator, we can talk about innovator, we can talk about motivator, but also very often dictator. And this requires different organization in different momentum, and you need a showman and a communicator, same as analytical skills, and someone who is able to be in the second row and to leave other people in the front, but also to take the front position when is required. There is no one formula. And also, if you see in the past, and successful company and successful leaders, you will see different approaches and different, let's say, major different skills. There are people which are very much quiet, very calm. There are people which are energetic and loud, shouting. There are more people which are presenting the things, showing up. There are people which are very, very much analytical into the long-term vision. It's very hard to say. What I would like to say, that I don't believe in the leadership of one person. I think the person, individual is important, but it's always group of person. It's always good to have a different people together, trying to find this interaction which is creating a right debate, discussion, even conflict sometimes, to come into the conclusion. I would say that the leaders could make the mistake if people feel that they should be loved by everybody. Even politicians often make this mistake because they expect that 85, 90%, 100% of the voters, of the citizens would need to admire them. I think this is not possible, but what is important, that you have a certain respect, and respect you gain by the fact of knowledge, by the courage, and I would say in the end the right leader is recognized. But even we can see in the history that many of leaders receive their recognition after 20 years, after 50 years, after a century, and someone never. And if you say like a genius in the art, you have now recognized the people, musicians from the 16th century, only today. Say, this piece of art was so radical and so revolutionary that today someone is saying this was great. But on their time, on the time they lived, nobody gave them recognition. This is also a very, very tricky question. Who is measuring and when and by which parameter? Is this only profit today, period of years 5, or maybe you have a right leader and the organization is going to benefit from that leadership maybe in 25 years' time. But he or she they are not going to be, or that leader is not going to be in place of CEO, whoever, president in the 20 years' time. When we talk about Atlantic Group, we want to talk and we like to think, and this is not programmatic things. This is what, at least what we feel on the level of senior management, trying this to, I wouldn't say impose, but trying this to bring into the organization. We talk about fun, because you can't eat more than one lunch, and it's not about money which you will touch and buy the stuff with the money, because again, once you have a house or you have a good life, that's it in terms of standard. When we talk about success, we are talking about, me personally, about the creation. I'm not the artist. I don't have this gift of being artist, but certainly I have some skills and interest of creating a new value, and especially doing that with a group of people, with a large group of people, and this interaction with the member of teams, and also with the different other organizations, with our customers, financial institutions, with our suppliers, with our advisors, makes me happy. Normally that. Not every day is bread and butter, and not every day and every moment is a success and it's sweet stuff, because if we would not have these tough days, we would not be able to admire these nice days. But I can't talk that, and I can't say that for us is success only the figure which would bring the profit. This is for sure quality of relationship. First among the team, the trust. This is this emotion towards our products and our services, but also about trying to find a win-win concept with the business partners. And I would say this is success. Someone can talk success about the market share, about the rate of return of investment, which is fine, and I would say every single organization are monitor. I would say first level of success by the hard figures, but more on that, taking how short is a life, is this quality of relationship and the quality of time which you are dedicating on your job. And I'm happy that we can talk about creation. I'm convinced that what we are doing in Atlantic Group is a creation. It's not a great movie, it's not a great sculpture or nice painting, but still, when we see new products, when we see a new service to the customer, when we see a new concept, when we see nice interaction, which can be tough, but in the end comes with some conclusion, for me this is success. This is a good question. I would say that I'm the guy which been with the pop industry and especially pop music, but also movies and but also books already now decades. But I never had one single poster on my wall, and I never had any idol in terms of personality, even being my parents or older friend, or I had nice business mentors in my life, but I never had a sort of figure which I would try to copy. Even maybe it was my arrogant approach when I was already a teenager, when I was saying to myself I can be better and different. And for sure I would say that it's a good feeling. It's to be not different because of being different, but to feel good in your own skin. And in that terms, personally, I never tried to copycat, but I read a lot. I attended different round table or speeches by the business leaders. I used to say in the past that Richard Branson was a sort of the example how you can do it your own, but even when you say it more than once, people are starting to saying Emil Tedeschi is a creation of Richard Branson. I'm not jumping with a parachute, I'm not going with a submarine, I'm afraid of extreme sports. I don't wearing the female dress, and I don't make up, and I don't like this comparison. And every time you raise the and there is many of people which are really great, not only in the business, but I didn't spend a lot of trying to study individual personality. Even I was studying lots of individual careers and move of different excellent people in the history of human being, not only being the businessman. And I hate stereotypes, and you know, I think it's good to have a nice metaphor of parallelism of someone else's life, but you know, it's my life, this moment, on this in this place. It's a very hard to try to copycat, and even this is not my style. But I have a full respect for the other people's success on different fields. I don't want to be perceived as arrogant. I mean, I like myself, but again, I'm fully aware of my weaknesses and let's say of how much different businessmen even or different individuals are better on the certain aspects and certain discipline than I am. But no individuals like idol or let's say a figure which I would like to follow. I'm quite in constant battle with dogma, and if you have any sort of figure which is going to be your lights or model you would like to copy or to repeat, you take this as a dogma, which I'm trying in my life to avoid. From everywhere. I mean, I would say anyone can raise the idea. Often happens that even personally, I'm not aware where the idea came from. And you know, when you heard something which came to your mind, and later on you repeat or you recycle that idea, not by the fact because you want to patronize the idea or you want to take the authorship of the idea. You forgot where it is coming from, and it comes from the family, talking to my wife and to my kids, to my friends, or talking to the in the company with my colleagues, or I'm talking with the business partners. And very often I even can't say where all this is coming from. Sometimes it comes from really by the pure improvisation. You know, it's like in the music, like in let's say when you listen, the people start jamming with a few chords, and you don't know where it is coming from. You know, it just comes as improvisation. I don't like to say that every good idea, and it would be really false and it would be blasphemy, it comes from me in this company. But very often even I can say, I'm sure it was not initially my idea, but where the organization took that initial, this triggering point of idea. But you know, but more you're talking in a different, under different circumstances, more you change the environment, and more different people on the different activities, different field you talk, more you read or listen other people, you have more possibility to give the ideas. And there is a proverb, someone is saying that it's better talking to friends than reading the books. I don't know. I mean, normally that as an organization we try to institutionalize the way how we discuss the ideas. But few of the key ideas were bizarre things. You know, like on M&A, we acquire some companies. We acquire a company, Cedevita, for on that time, this was a $40 million company of purchasing value, and we went to the same seller to buy the company of 5% of the size of Cedevita. But this was a problem because we couldn't buy Cedevita because we were obliged to buy subsidiary company and mother company. And we were interested for the subsidiary company called Vivera. But the seller told us, if you want to buy Vivera, you have to buy a mother company, Cedevita. Then, through the due diligence process, we understood that we are much more interested to buy mother company than subsidiary company. And it happens in the end that we acquire mother company and we spin off. Simultaneously, we sold subsidiary company, which was our first idea for the acquisition. I mean, we were buying Droga Kolinska, which is a $500 million takeover. The first or initial idea was to acquire only one brand of the Kokta, which is a carbonated soft drinks, like a herbal version of Coke or Pepsi, here in the region, ordinary Slovenian brand. And if you would ask our management, including me, what you would like to buy from Droga Kolinska, which was a FMCG conglomerate, it would say only Kokta. Today, when we bought whole the company, the Kokta is nice parts of the business. But one of the less profitable part of the business, we saw there is a much better brands within the group of brands which we acquired. Which means, you know, the more you learn, you also change your mind. And it's not that your initial ideas or the projects were the best one, but this is a constant process. I mean, about motivation myself, I try that my life is not boring, and when I have when I start to be bored, I try to cut that process, which always is not possible because sometimes you have the schedule which you can't walk away. But generally about the life, I try when I start feeling that this is already déjà vu and this is something which I already went through and I don't want this to repeat again, to go through the change. But again, nobody is alone in his life. It's not possible to walk away from the situation. When we talk about organization, it's much more complex because individually, you can say today I will not work 11 hours. I'm going to work 9 hours, and I go to movie. I went to cinema. I want to see a nice film, and you change the situation, or say I go to gym or I play the basketball with the friends or a cut. You say I cancel the meeting or I take 2 days off. As a CEO, you are able to do that. But when we talk about organization, much more complex. We have 4,300 people. It should be the system. How to run the daily business, but also how to motivate the associate to come with the ideas, not to be shy, how to expose themselves, how not to be afraid of being shut down by the idea which is not going to be perceived as the best idea. And this is not easy, and we try to do this through the corporate cultural values, through the different workshop, through the mentorship program, through the incentivize also with the prizes. We try to also have a out-of-box conversation, which we don't talk by we don't select by a hierarchy the audience and group of people, but we intentionally take people by different ages, experience, and hierarchical level into the one group. Sometimes we have the results, sometimes it's complete failure, but this is the beauty for the leader, to try to motivate the people. I would say one of the good aspect is to talk about the failure. I'm not afraid of talking about my personal failure, about the failure of organization. I think it's also a way how to promote the situation that not every idea is a genius idea, and not that every idea has to bring the success, because this is not possible. And there are some good ideas, and they are good just because of the idea, and there's not going to be any results. But because we have to have this freshness of idea, there is no stupid questions. And I would say there is not stupid ideas. And even if idea would trigger or to initiate any sort of discussion, of debate, it's already a good idea. And even it's obvious that 9 out of 10 people around the table would say this is a stupid idea. But just maybe because of that, maybe it's a genius idea. It's always, is the glass half empty or half full? And if you are doing the things which other people are doing, then you are copycat. Maybe you have to be a revolutionary one. And but not that every revolutionary idea are going to be a brilliant idea. But I would say in business, a part of the business excellences and in the processes, and because of the selection of the teammate, this creating the atmosphere for the new ideas is the key duty or a key target for every business leader or for every senior management. It is, but it's never ideal. It always could be better, and there is no recipe for the right communication, because the audience is very much different. This is not anonymous group of people, or I would say the group of people which have a same view on every proposal. And you know, to one you can shout, to one you have to be very polite. Sometimes it's better to be direct, but not only people like the direct approach. Sometimes you don't have a time for the large introduction, and again, I would say there is no recipe. The communication is very important to motivate people to believe that they can contribute. And this is not easy, because the larger organization it is, there is more tendency to have a bureaucratic frame around the organization. And today, with the new technology, which helps a lot with the emails, is also killing the conversation. People are less talking, you know, one-to-one or as a group. People are copy and BCC mails. You're receiving hundreds of communication per day. And I'd say it's insane. I would say that any time management, it's not able to absorb this quantity of the daily communication. How much of good communication per day we can have? 3 meetings, 4 meetings, 10 messages, 15 phone calls, but now we are talking about hundreds, dozens of hundreds. And this is also, I would say, for the right leadership to calibrate that huge amount of daily communication, which starts to be like la pour l'autism. I mean, you know, l'art pour art, you know, communication for communication, just for the sake of alibi. You know, I'm sending 100 messages, emails to my colleagues that he knows, or that I can claim tomorrow that I informed him or her. But in the end, is this real communication, or building a formal alibi that we send info to someone? How many messages someone can absorb per day? And really take that information, take messages, as a solid element of creating a new value, building some positive scenario. And I would say that technology helps us a lot, but in the same time makes our life much more complex, like it used to be 30 years ago or 50 years ago, when you have a pen or pencil and piece of paper and nice old-fashioned letter, which would travel from Zagreb to London 3 weeks, or from Zagreb to Australia 3 months. It was also the beauty of that times. I mean, I would say everything is discovered and well known in business practice, and it's very hard to say that I would raise something which is very unique. But on the first acquisition when we made 2001, we did as Atlantic Grupa for the very first time in our country, but also much wider, I would say in territory of former Yugoslavia, the fact that we leverage for the purpose of acquisition intangible assets, namely the brand, and as a collateral for the financing of takeover, because we had our own equity, we had equity partners, we were using mezzanine as a subordinating loan, we have a senior loan from the banks. We parallelly bought and sold part of the business. This was a spin-off, what I talked before. And again, we missed 1/3 of the acquisition value of to be able to pay to the seller for the company. And the sellers told us, "This is no problem. You can raise the bank guarantee and to cover and to have deferred payment." They said, "Look, for us to give an additional loan from the bank, to receive additional loan from the bank, or to transfer to you the bank guarantees, for us is the same issue." And then I said, talking to the CFO of the company who was selling that business, why we don't buy for the money we have only the brands, and then the buildings and machinery and all tangible assets you transfer to us the moment we pay the balance of the price. And the gentleman told me, "Look, Emil, it's completely opposite. There is brands is the only thing which is valuable in the transaction. And at that time, the value of the brand was a zero in the books. And what does it mean for us selling you the brands? And if you don't pay the full price till the end, you're going to have the real quality, and we are going to stay with the buildings and machinery which nobody needs." And then, this was not planned, it came into my mind. I said, "Okay, if it's brands which is most valuable, what if we acquire everything and not brands, and we lease the brand for the 3 years for $1 per year, no interest, and after we are going to be able to pay you rest of the price, which was 1/3, you transfer us the brand." And we had this very unique, for this environment and this region, business transaction, which we were using for 3 years, the brands. We were already owner of the company, of the land, of the buildings, offices, factory, machineries, but the brand and the recipes, know-how remained the property of the seller for the 3 years, and we were able to produce, and practically we were leasing that brand. And it was the first example of this sort of transaction, as I said, in Croatia or in any country of Southeastern Europe. And still I don't know any repetition of this business model. This is something I'm very proud, and when people invite me to talk on the international business school in the States, in Europe, I like to talk to the MBA students or undergraduate students about that experience, not because that I feel that this is something which is revolutionary generally, but still, when you go to the values of brands all over the world, you will see that not many companies in the FMCG sector would have the value of brands and intangible assets in their books. The first Coke brought the value of the Coke brand into the books, but still, very often you have a revalorization of the tangible assets into the balance sheet, but the value of intangible assets still undervalued or even have the zero valuation. This is something I would say we were quite pioneer for that here. And I mean, what I'm proud of. I mean, I'm proud of that the company, which were very small company doing 100% of the business with the other brand, with the brands who belongs to the multinationals such as Wrigley or Ferrero or Johnson & Johnson, doing business exclusively in Croatia. And I'm talking until the June 2001, and we've been established in October 91 for 10 years, 100% with the other company brands, and 100% of the turnover only in Croatia. Today, in last 12 years, we increased 8 times our turnover. We are doing only 27% of our turnover in Croatia, and only 17% with the same brands like Wrigley, Johnson & Johnson, Ferrero, as we used to do 100% in 2001, which we transformed the business concept, we transformed the company, we bought some very relevant brands which now belongs to us. In the same time, we didn't decrease our performance with the big brands such as Wrigley. We more than duplicate their turnover since 2001. But today we are the second largest private company in Croatia by the turnover, ninth corporation in Croatia, counting state-owned companies, state-owned monopoles, banks, and any kind of corporation in the company. We are number 9. Still, we are very small, but still, I would say we are providing a new way of fun for our employees, and this I'm proud of. We are never going to be the largest company in the world, or we are never going to be the most profitable company in the world, not because we don't want to compete, but probability for that, it's really almost not existing. But still, we feel that we can be the company when, if you would like to measure intensity of happiness and intensity of feeling of people are content because they are together and they are creating new value together, that we are going to be very high position. I would say that advice would be that whoever ever comes to the position of being a leader, it's a responsibility, but I would say that it's important to understand that it's not only you can do in your life. It is sort of the cycle. Someone is designed to be a leader, and this is going to be success. But many of people are going to have this failure. And not to take this dramatically personal. It's always personal, but I would say there is also life, and the life existing if you are not the leader, you are not leading the organization. And also, there are many of frustration of successful businessmen when they arrive to the point of career that they start to be unsuccessful because of their performance, because of environment, because of circumstances. But I would say, for me, it's tragical to see the people which are disappointed by unsuccess. It's normal that nobody likes to be defeated and nobody would like to lose. But in terms of psychology and my personal philosophy, there is always another life, there is always another chance, and there is some potential setup which is going to make you happy and fortunate. And I would say that the people which would take things for given, like you are running 100,000 employees organization and you are a big CEO, and it's the only thing which you can do in life, I would say is wrong, because we also in the life success, but story of success normally they comes on the point which or you end your life cycle or something is going wrong. And very often it's not going wrong because you yourself did something wrong, but because there's a constellation. And not to take a tragical if this moment occur or it arrive. Not to take it tragical, because I believe there is always another chance. Maybe not of running such a large organization for sure, but there is a somehow necessary to find the beauty in something else. for me, is this is very much philosophical thing. I would say for me, this is all about. It's all about. It's lots about the creation. For me, this is creation is not only or predominantly material creation. For me, creating relationship and trust and understanding and let's say a normal or not turbulent or non-conflict environment. Even conflict is necessary sometimes. For me, this is some, let's say, major generator for me. It's maybe easier to say today when we arrived with the company on a certain level, and for the new entrepreneur or for the new leader, probably you can't impose easily that. But it's very hard. It's always a mixture. I mean, normally there's big things in the life, like belongings, like love, like emotion, but it's also about having something new. It's very hard to say one single word, but maybe to end the interview, you know, there is a song saying, "Be yourself, don't be someone else, be a supersonic." You know, if you are really yourself, if you're living your life by your own standards, and then you are okay with that, and I think you can be on your best. If you are living someone else's life, then somewhere it's going to be I would say negative results or negative aspects, or because if you are pretending that you are someone who you are not. And in the business, like in the life, there's lots of compromises, and this beauty, I would say, fighting the compromises, and at the same time being happy with yourself. It's the name of the game.